What are you going to do after breaking up with me? You can't live on a part-timer's wage, you know? My husband looked down at me with a confident smirk. He probably thinks I don't know anything, but I see right through him. It'll be too late, even if he cries and apologizes later. I'm Alice, 28 years old, in the first year of marriage. No kids yet, but we're thinking about it eventually, which is why I switched to a flexible part-time job when we got married. Still, I work many hours, and I'm also studying for a certification, so my days are quite busy. My husband, Jackson, is the same age as me. He doesn't try to help me with housework. Hey Jackson, how many times do I have to tell you not to leave your clothes all over the place? Your socks are inside out too. The laundry basket is too far. It's a hassle to even get to the washing part. Laundry's just done by the washing machine anyway. All you have to do is gather the clothes and put them in. Are you not good at multitasking, Alice? Every day, it's the same back and forth. I didn't see this side of him when we were dating. I had no idea he was this incapable of living on his own. But come on, I work at a top company. It's thanks to me that you could afford to be so laid back as a part-timer, right? You should just do the housework without complaining. While I'm busy with cleaning, laundry, meal prep, and countless other nameless chores, Jackson is lounging on the couch playing with his phone. It's frustrating, but I was fooled by the charming demeanor and extremely handsome face of the Jackson I met before marriage. Still, I'm not bothered by taking care of someone, and while Jackson doesn't do housework, he works a regular job and takes me out on dates over the weekend. Despite everything, I thought our marriage was going well. Hey Alice, let's go to bed early tonight. Sorry, I just finished the chores, and now it's my study time. Go ahead and sleep first. Again, I'm planning to get back to a full-time job someday, so I'm taking the chance to earn certifications while we don't have kids. I thought I had discussed this with Jackson and had his support. Alice, you're just a part-timer. Aren't you putting too much effort into your studies? How much is that going to raise your hourly wage? Oh, it's not about an immediate wage increase, but this certification is very important for the future. We've talked about this a lot. If I get this certification, the hourly wage isn't going up, huh? Jackson looked down at me with a disgusting smile he'd never seen before. What do you mean? Whether it's full-time or part-time, that shouldn't matter at home. And if you helped out around the house, I could finish earlier. Don't argue. Who do you think you are? Eating every day thanks to me. If it weren't for my earnings, Alice couldn't afford to be so nonchalant as a part-timer. Jackson cut me off and raised his voice, leaving me stunned. Seeing me silent, he seemed to think he had won the argument, and his momentum didn't stop. And you know, recently with all this part-time work and studying for certifications, haven't you lost your femininity? Your makeup and clothes are too plain. With that, I'll be attracted by other women, you know? Is that what you want? Huh? Other women? There are plenty of women interested in me, so you should be more worried. I knew Jackson was popular, but I hadn't expected him to be so arrogant. What are you saying? Do you realize how awful you sound? Jackson laughed at me with a trembling voice. You're causing this by yourself. Instead of wasting time on meaningless studies, you should be trying to keep your husband happy. I was dumbfounded by Jackson's words. I won't touch you for a while then. With a triumphant look, Jackson headed to the bedroom, and I silently watched him go. That night, I couldn't bring myself to enter the bedroom where Jackson was. Sigh. What's gotten into Jackson lately? After that night, Jackson's words and actions only got worse. He mocked my part-time job, complained about the housework, and laughed at my appearance. He's like a different person. Maybe I should suggest he sees a psychiatrist. As his attitude towards me worsened, his overtime at work increased. So, I thought maybe he was stressed and unstable because of his job. On a weekday off from my part-time job, worried about Jackson, I started looking up nearby psychiatrists on my computer. That's when my phone rang. Huh, that's rare. It's my sister. The caller was my sister, Caroline. She married right after graduating college. Now 30, she is devoted to raising her 2 children. Hello, Caroline? Oh, Alice, how are you? She looks just like me, but our personalities are completely different. Caroline has always been the pampered type and always dressed up. We're not particularly close, so it was unusual for her to contact me. What's up with the sudden call? Just thinking, you might be having some troubles. For people who want to listen to their troubles, my sister's voice is playing hard. It's not so much a problem. I'm just worried because Jackson seems so busy. Oh, Jackson's busy with work, huh? Yeah, he's almost always doing overtime. Wow, overtime every day? That's crazy. Caroline laughed as if she found it amusing. I wanted to retort about her choice of words, but held back as I sensed Caroline leaning in through the phone. So, how are things at night? What? I was speechless at her unexpectedly insensitive question. What's the matter? Not answering means. Why on earth would I need to discuss that with you? I blushed furiously. Whether Caroline knew or not, she laughed triumphantly. I knew it. You two must be having relationship troubles. I was worried that Jackson might be reaching his limit because you lack allure. I don't need your concern. You're getting so irritated it's clear you're stressed out. Her voice grew even more excited, which seemed to delight her. Poor Alice, you can't even win your husband over, and you're newlyweds. Shall I teach you how to attract a man? Horrified by her one-sided offer, I shouted, "No, thank you," and hung up immediately. Jackson and Caroline, what is it with them? I should have realized then. The bizarre behavior of the two people closest to me was actually deeply connected. I'm whom? Finally back. Welcome home. Ugh, you reek of alcohol. Jackson continued to work overtime, also began to participate in drinking frequently during his overtime work. Today, he went home in the morning to say something about celebrating the promotion of the husband of the sister of the department's senior wife. Why are you completely drunk celebrating someone else's promotion? Due to the fragmentation Jackson, I decided to drag him to the psychiatrist tomorrow and take him with me. I was dragging drunk Jackson from the entrance to the bedroom. Dragging him heavier than myself was a struggle, taking a lot of time. During this, Jackson's phone, sticking out from his pocket, began receiving an alarming number of messages. So noisy. Should have set it to silent mode. I picked up the phone, which was about to fall out of the pocket, and involuntarily looked at the screen. There, shockingly, was Caroline's name displayed in the message notifications. What? Why is Caroline bombarding Jackson with messages? After some hesitation, I used Jackson's sleeping finger to unlock the fingerprint lock and check the messages. The contents of the open message are sweet, with emoji hearts flying around. You drank too much today, huh? I'd be happy if you think of me when you're hungover tomorrow. I'll send you today's lovey-dovey video. It came out great. At least 10 such messages had arrived. This message, it's definitely from Caroline. Jackson, it wasn't just drinking. What's this video about? My question was immediately answered by the video Caroline sent. As soon as I opened the video, I was filled with disgust and threw Jackson's phone away. Yuck! What played on the screen was Jackson and Caroline in the act. Seeing it made me rush to the bathroom, feeling nauseous. Even after emptying my stomach, I still felt sick. Outside the bathroom, Jackson's phone continued to receive messages. Never leave the toilet and look at his phone message. Alice will never notice LOL because she's so clueless. Let's bet on how long it takes her to notice. Seeing Caroline's utterly disrespectful messages displayed on Jackson's phone flipped the switch in me. I left Jackson lying in the hallway and went to bed alone. But I wasn't going to sleep. I couldn't possibly sleep. A wife's sister, her sister's husband, blatantly involved. Jackson's recent arrogance and Caroline's provocative calls all made sense now. And they were even making bets about it instead of hiding their affair. How low can you stoop? I'll never forgive them. I clenched Jackson's phone and mine tightly in my shaking hands. Alice, why did you leave me lying in the hallway last night? My body's all stiff now because of that. The next morning, Jackson got up from the hallway, making a big fuss. Internally, I thought, you slept soundly enough, but I didn't say it out loud. Oh, Jackson, sorry for being such a terrible wife. You were too heavy, and I just gave up halfway. I raised my voice louder than Jackson's and threw myself at his feet. I'm such a failure as a wife, letting her husband sleep in the hallway and sleeping soundly in a warm comforter myself. What a horrible wife I am. Yeah. Yes, a terrible wife. My body has become cold. Initially confused, Jackson, always the opportunist, soon warmed to the idea. Squeezed, and I began to perform a crying performance to the over. Really, being so incompetent, I'm not worthy to be beside perfect Jackson. That's right. Alice finally understands how great I am. Yes, someone as inadequate as me shouldn't be the wife of a man like Jackson. That's right. You shouldn't be. It's a punishment for letting Jackson sleep in the cold hallway. Divorce is unavoidable. Yes, divorce is unavoidable. There must be someone more suitable for you. I'll step aside. Yeah, please step aside. Divorce decided. Divorce decided. Huh? Jackson fell right into my trap, and without giving him a moment to lower his excitement, I presented him with the divorce papers I had filled out earlier. Here, now you can be free from the chains of marriage with me. Oh, be free? From Alice? I nodded as I handed him a pen. Yes, sign here and here. Wow, such beautiful handwriting. As expected, it really puts my handwriting to shame. We really weren't suited for each other. Yeah, I'm too great for us to be suited. That's right, you are too great. Okay, stamp here. Perfect. I'll keep this and submit it to the office after getting a witness signature. It'll probably take about 3 days. 3 days? For divorce? Isn't that kind of sudden? I snatched the pen from Jackson, who seemed about to come to his senses, and looked at the clock. Oh my, look at the time. We need to have breakfast, get dressed and go to work. Everyone is waiting for their reliable Superman, Jackson. That's right. They're waiting for reliable me. Let's eat. Jackson ate the breakfast prepared on the dining table, dressed in clothes I had laid out in order, and went to work as usual. I never thought he'd fall for such flattery. I wonder how simple his personality is. How pathetic I feel for having chosen such a man as my husband. There's no use regretting the past. I need to make perfect arrangements everywhere in the next 3 days. Though I had no appetite, I forced myself to eat breakfast and then went to work with the divorce papers in hand. And 3 days later, everything was ready, and I faced the last night as Jackson's wife. Tonight's the big moment, I murmured as I crawled into bed. Ever since I learned about Jackson and my sister Caroline's affair, sharing a bed with him became unbearable, and I had been sleeping curled up like a cocoon in a sleeping bag in the living room. Even more, since making him sign the divorce papers, I couldn't bring myself to even speak to him, Alice, about the divorce. The day he signed the papers, Jackson had come home completely calm. He tried to talk to me with a serious expression, but I couldn't bring myself to respond. As soon as he spoke, I stopped cooking, turned away, and stared blankly at nothing in particular. Eh? Alice? What's wrong? No matter what Jackson said, I remained expressionless and didn't move a muscle. This tactic worked, and with a forced laugh, Jackson quickly retreated to take a bath. Over these 3 days, whenever Jackson tried to talk to me, I would avoid the conversation by staring blankly into space. However, tonight I had to confront him and my sister to deliver their comeuppance. I burrowed into the bed and listened intently for any sounds in the hallway. Sure enough, I could hear Jackson's hurried footsteps. Alice. Jackson entered the bedroom and called out to me in a sticky voice. Finally, you've come back to our marital bed, Alice. His tone and manner of speaking grated on me. I held back my nausea and drew him in as much as I could. Then Jackson immediately got on his feet and tried to cover up over me. Come on, stop ignoring me and tell me why you suddenly started talking about divorce. I shivered with disgust at his sickly sweet voice. Jackson, mistaking my trembling for crying, started to stroke my back from atop the comforter. Alice, it's just because I've been working late and haven't paid you enough attention, right? You don't really want a divorce, do you? Just be honest. Jackson gave a narcissistic smile. Besides, what are you going to do if we split? You can't live on a part-timer's salary, you know? At his continued condescending remarks, I reached my breaking point. Stay back. I jumped up and grabbed the frying pan I had stashed under my pillow, brandishing it at Jackson. Yikes! Startled by my reaction, Jackson staggered back. What do you mean, be honest? I know everything. I can't believe you got involved with your wife's sister. Disgusting. What? Alice, have you gone mad from loneliness? Jackson continued to feign ignorance, his face breaking into a grin. I said I know everything. The messages and videos from the days you lied about going to drinking and met with Caroline. I have all the evidence. Messages and videos. No way. You looked through my phone. The notifications were too loud. Plus, I don't want to be criticized by someone who lies to meet his wife's sister and then records such vile acts. I waved the frying pan in front of Jackson's nose as I yelled. He finally admitted his infidelity, his mouth twisting in defeat. It's not what you think. I really did love you, Alice, but Caroline came on to me, and I just went along with it. You're saying it's okay to get involved with your wife's sister just because she came on to you? It's too late for any excuses now. In front of my unrelenting anger, Jackson could only sulk. Well, I like Caroline's makeup. What? My sister's makeup? Jackson started rambling as if he was explaining the most natural thing in the world. I guess I'm just attracted to heavier makeup. I didn't realize it until I got involved with Caroline. You should have realized that before getting married. Now I really don't see the point in our marriage. By this point, I was utterly drained. Even though I was stunned, Jackson kept talking like a fool. It's not like that. Fundamentally, I prefer you, Alice. You take care of me. You're smart and capable, and I even liked your face. It was just the makeup. Oh yeah. So you just went for my sister because she looks like me but wears more makeup. That's supposed to make me feel better? Either way, it's unacceptable. My anger surged anew, and Jackson, reduced to a blubbering child, finally began to cry. But when I see Caroline, it's like seeing Alice all glammed up and dressed flashy, and it excited me. It was really just a moment of madness. Someone should praise me for not swinging the frying pan I held at Jackson. After a moment of silence, a scream burst from the smartphone at my bedside. What the heck? What? To his surprise, I half laughed and pointed at my phone with my chin. That's your affair partner. I had prepared for tonight's showdown by contacting my sister during the day. I know everything about you and Jackson. I had told her to pick up if I called tonight, to listen in without making a sound. My usually loud sister seemed genuinely scared of her affair with Jackson being exposed to her family. This time, she listened to me without a fuss. I slipped into bed, called my sister, and turned on the speakerphone. That way, I managed to let her hear Jackson's pathetic excuses. You said I was cuter, prettier, more attractive than Alice, right? And now you're saying it's just because I wear more makeup. Of course, I knew my sister wouldn't stay quiet until the end. Predictably, she started shrieking. Hey Jackson, are you listening? You like me, right? Being with me is more fun than with Alice, right? Jackson, initially stunned, seemed to grasp the situation. He sighed deeply and replied wearily to my sister on the other end of the phone. That's not it at all. As you heard, I just liked your heavy makeup and flashy style. That's terrible. I should definitely be more attractive than Alice. But Caroline, everything you say is just crazy or amazing. It's not interesting. The only advantage for me was your resemblance to Alice with heavy makeup. I'm not gaudy. I'm glamorous. What a low-level conversation. It's depressing to think these two are technically still my family. So, what are you two planning to do now? My icy tone finally made them stop their fruitless bickering. Jackson knelt on the bed and bowed slightly towards me. I really thought it would never come out. I'm truly sorry. Having an affair within the family, I thought nobody would suspect. So you were aware it was crazy. If a simple apology was enough, we wouldn't need lawyers or family courts. I'm sorry. Really sorry. Alice, please don't file a divorce. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Just facing you now makes my skin crawl, let alone continuing a marital life. It seems that a sense of crisis finally dawned on Jackson. He began to cry far more intensely than before. Wait, divorce is too embarrassing. Choosing Caroline proves that I'm genetically in love with you, Alice. Jackson blubbered and cried, his face a mess of tears and snot. Even his previously attractive face couldn't salvage a 1,000-year love now chilled. Huh, so Alice, you're divorcing Jackson. You turned into a divorcee so quickly. Poor thing. My sister, still under the delusion she has the upper hand. I kindly corrected her misconception. What are you talking about? You're getting divorced too, right? We're going to be fellow divorcees. My sister's tone changed by my words over the phone. No way. Alice, please don't tell my husband. It'll be a disaster. I'll apologize. I'll do anything. Please, Alice. Too bad. I've already shared the video with your husband. After hearing that, it seemed my sister screamed and dropped her smartphone. A clattering sound followed, and then her voice was gone. And she wasn't the only one who screamed. Video, what? Me and Caroline's? You didn't send it to the boss, did you? Yes, Jackson. You're definitely losing your job now. Watching Jackson turn pale and tremble, I smiled for the first time in days. In fact, the leading company Jackson works for is a company run by my sister's husband. Our very meeting was thanks to my Bill's introduction. Caroline always boasted about her husband's subordinate marrying me, but who would have thought she'd make a mistake with that subordinate? Please, tell the boss that video is fake by you. From now on, you can use all my salary however you like. Jackson pleaded desperately, clearly not wanting to lose his prestigious job title. I'm not interested in that, because at this rate, I'll easily surpass your current salary. What? I continued to confront Jackson with more truths. I passed the CPA exam I was studying for recently, Starting next month, I'll be a full-time employee at the office where I've been working part-time. Eventually, I'm planning to start my own practice. I revealed the future plans I had discussed with Jackson, and he gaped as if hearing them for the first time. What? Alice was studying for a CPA exam, not just a bookkeeping certificate for office work. When did you think I was just taking a bookkeeping test? I nearly fell off the bed I was sitting on. It seems I truly chose the wrong partner. Because Alice can't becoming a CPA. That's impossible. It's a lie. Jackson always saw me as less than him, and I couldn't bear living under the same roof any longer. I got out of bed and stood up boldly. A husband who can't do housework and only acts superior, even if he wasn't unfaithful, is unacceptable. I never want to see you again. Goodbye. With that, I slammed the frying pan I was holding onto the bed. Then, I changed into the clothes I had hidden under my pajamas and grabbed the bag I had prepared. I headed to a hotel near my workplace that I had reserved in advance. The next day, I filed for divorce and officially became single. Jackson was forced to resign after getting sued by the company president for having an affair with his wife. Caroline, of course, lost custody to her ex-husband with minimal visitation rights agreed upon in the divorce. She's been ostracized by relatives and apparently isn't doing well in her first job hunt. However, both she and Jackson are unable to escape paying double alimony and are working day and night in various jobs. As for me, I started living alone after my divorce. That's quite comfortable with the fact that I can study at any time I want. Plus, someone's socks are not rolled inside out. Work-wise, my sister's ex-husband apologized for introducing such a strange man by connecting me with several of his business contacts, and my client base is steadily increasing. The dream of starting my own practice might not be too far off.